crack UPSC CSE in English with Unacademy. And so if you want to know about me, so I have 5 years of teaching experience for civil services, and I also appeared for the civil service interview twice, and I have written this mains examination more than a couple of times, despite of being a failure. So I know how to crack this examination because I have huge amount of experience in reading different books, and I'll help you in your preparation regarding with civil services. And if you want to know about me, like how I used to crack this examination, like how we used to prepare during prelims and all, I'll be creating a separate viral video for it. So please go through it. But in this lecture series, daily we will be coming up live on some of the important aspects which are important for preliminary examination from your geography, ecology, environment sections. Clear? So, and the topic which is highly important, which is noted in the which is noted in general in preliminary examination, where on and often 1 or 2 questions would be coming, that is climatic regions of the world. If you could divide, there are some of the climatologists who have divided this climatic regions. We'll be discussing it later on. So these kind of huge important aspects which are very much highly important for your prelims and as well as mains, I'll be dealing up, but I'm not choosing any topic from the mains, especially those regions of floods, droughts, El Nino, La Nina conditions. Those I'll be dealing up post your preliminary examination during your mains. Clear? So this is the anthem which you have to hear, like let's crack UPSC CSE in English with India's largest learning platform. So please try to get the subscription done. So try to get the subscription of Unacademy today itself, so that you would be getting huge benefits from this. Like you will be watching unlimited live and recorded courses from India's top educators. Clear? So how to get the subscription done? Just open the Play Store and click on Unacademy Learning app. Just install it, and once you install, you will be redirected towards the home page. From then you can easily get the button called as get subscription, and try to get the subscription today itself with very nominal price which is present here. And what you are going to get when you take the subscription here, so you are going to get daily live classes. So live classes, in sense, they are not one-way communication. These live classes, they do have the two-way communication, like that of you can chat with the educator here and you can engage in the discussions, you can ask your doubts, and answer polls would be there, and all these things happen while the class would be going on. It's not like daily we would be having live classes only on one-way communication basis. If you have missed live classes, you can watch recorded lectures. Like for example, if you find any emergency today at that time, so you can come back and watch the recorded lectures here. And you can see live test series which happen on this platform, and also quizzes on and often which can evaluate your preparation. So evaluating your preparation is must during civil services, that you have to at least know where you are stuck at. Like let us say like you are at 30 out of 100. So you will able to know that you have to walk 70 steps more. So this evaluation is must while during preparation, and this is the most important component for your civil service aspect here. Apart from this, if you see, you will find structured courses. It's not like you will be finding random educators coming and teaching on the platform. An educator, he would create a structured course on the particular subject. Like for example, let's say an educator is teaching polity. He will make a structure of course of series of lectures in the polity for the upcoming 1 or 2 months, and daily at that particular time he will be coming and dealing these lectures. Clear? So do remember this structured course. No unstructured courses would be framed, and unlimited access is one of the most prior benefits you would be getting. So once the subscription is done, like let's say you have did the subscription for 12 months, until 12 months you can watch unlimited lectures of different educators on this platform. So of comfort of your device, like you can watch it in the mobile, you can watch it in the laptop, you can watch it on the desktop as well. So unlimited access, like if you have missed live classes, you can watch record lectures. And if you don't understand that recorded lecture, you can watch it a number of times. This is the most important prior benefit which this Unacademy platform would be giving you once you get the subscription done. Clear? And if you could see here, you have some of the top educators. Like if you can see Sudarshan Gujjar sir here, and you can see Ayush Sanghi sir, Prakash Kumar Hunal. All these are top educators of India. Apart from these, we have 80 plus educators who deal on Unacademy platform, like especially for UPSC CSE. So these many top educators, they are dealing on this particular platform, so you can enjoy all the lectures of all these educators once you come onto the platform. Clear? And once you install the Unacademy Learning app, you will find a separate column called as special classes. Once go and watch those lectures, just you will understand what and how the Unacademy classes would be running on. So once you go and watch these special classes, 100% you will be getting the benefit, and you will get an idea how generally the classes would be running on this particular platform. Clear? So, and apart from that, you can also see these upcoming courses which are going to happen on this platform. Like you can prepare your schedule accordingly. Like for example, let's say you want to give the attempt of 2021, so you can follow this regular batch which is going to happen. Apart from this, like if you want to have some knowledge on geography optional, you can cope up with this particular course. Or if you want the test series base, you can focus on this particular course which is made. In this way, there are a number of courses made by different educators on the platform. So try to come and watch this. You will 100% get the benefit from this. Clear? And see, these are the subscription prices which are present. Like per month 7,200, 3 month 18,000, 6 month 28,800, 12 month 36,000, and for 24 month it is 43,200. So if you could see, the difference between 12 month and 24 month is very least, like approximately 7,200 extra adding charge for this, you can get 24-month subscription. So generally I say aspirants to go for 24-month subscription itself. Clear? So if you want to get this 10% discount which is visible here, you have to use the code called as VK10. So when you use the code called as VK10, you can get the subscription with a special discount of 10%. So don't forget to apply this code called as VK10, and before proceeding to pay, just apply this code. Once you apply this code, 100% you will be getting this 10% discount off on your particular subscription price. Clear? So let's move into the lectures of climatic regions. See, there are many geographers who have given the climatic divisions, like let us say Köppen, Treverta. Clear? In this way, many geographers have given this, but Köppen's classification would be the most accepted one. Clear? And this is highly difficult for you to remember. Like Köppen has divided some divisions on the basis, like one, he has calculated it as tropical humid climate. He has named it as A group of climates, and dry climates he have named it as B group of climate, warm temperates C group, cold snow forest climates D group, and cold climates E, and highlands H. So don't try to remember these even, they are not necessary. Try to remember each typical type of climate, like tropical wet type of climate, tropical monsoon, tropical wet and dry. So in this way, I will try to cover almost all the climatic divisions which are present, which I feel they are highly important for your prelims point of view. Clear? No, like every climatic region doesn't frame a huge importance for you. So I'll try to cover almost all the climatic regions during this sessions. Clear? So tropical wet type of climate, equatorial type of climate, like it extends in equator, and he has given the subdivision also. All these climates are divided as A group of climates, and for tropical wet he has given it as A plus a small f, and for tropical monsoon it is A and small m, and tropical wet and dry A and W. These alphabetical codes are also not that important for you, especially for your GS standard. So try not to focus on these particular letter codes which are present here. So but remember the characteristics, like tropical monsoonal climate, you find no dry season. It means throughout the year precipitation, hence vegetation would be high. So while discussing about the characteristics, while seeing into the characteristics, try not to go deeper. Just with one statement, you have to drag each and every point which is essential for that type of climate. Every time when you read the climatic divisions of the world, try to remember, one is distribution has to be remembered for sure. 4 points every climatic aspect has to be remembered. One is distribution, one is temperature in those regions, one is precipitation, one is vegetation over there, and fifth one would be miscellaneous aspects, like if there is any kind of special economic activity which would be present over there, you have to focus on those particular aspects as well. Clear? So just by seeing this characteristic, you have to have an imagination that what all are the things which are going to happen. Like tropical wet equatorial type of climate, Here the characteristic is no dry season is present. Like no dry season in the sense throughout the year rainfall. So precipitation pattern would be high, vegetation would be high. Like in this way, you have to drag the things from these characteristics. Clear? So try to remember this tabular column, take a screenshot of this. At least 1 or 2 questions can be carried out from this particular tabular column itself. And if you could see tropical monsoon, like short dry seasons are present, like we would be having precipitations in particular season, clear cut wet and dry seasons would be present. Tropical wet and dry, winter dry season would be present. And steppe climate, low latitude, semi-arid or dry, subtropical desert, low latitude, arid or dry. In this way, by remembering these characteristics, you can easily make the solution for the question which has been asked in that particular preliminary examination. Try to not skip this off. Please try to remember the characteristics of all the climatic divisions which are present. Clear? Just 1 minute. Yeah. So first let's start up with equatorial type of climate. The most important, most asked in UPSC. It would be the favorite question if any question would be coming from this aspect in your UPSC preliminary examination. Clear? And if you could know about this, like equatorial type of climate, it is present between 5 degree north to 5 degree south, and it is also known as hot wet equatorial climate. And equatorial rainforests which are present in these regions, we would be focusing on this. Clear? It is also known as hot wet equatorial climate. Clear? And these regions are generally referred as equatorial rainforest, equatorial evergreen forest, tropical moist broadleaf forest, lowland equatorial evergreen forest. So this type of climate are found in and around equatorial region. See, you can see the picture of this evergreen forestry. Here, as I have said, there is no dry season in this region. Throughout the year, precipitation has given dominant vegetation which is happening here. Clear? Try to focus on this. It is also known as hot wet equatorial climate. Do remember this. If you see the distribution, I have already said this equatorial type of climate is present in and around this equatorial region. You can see near to that of Ecuador regions, near to that of Brazil regions in the Amazon basin, near to that of Congo basin, near to that of Indonesian group of islands. We find these kind of climatic divisions. Clear? So in this regard, we would be having the equatorial type of distribution in these particular aspects, like in these particular regions which are in and around the equatorial region. Do remember, all these regions are highly important. For this to understand, you should have a minimum knowledge. Minimum knowledge you have to have, that from which countries does equator pass, from which country does Capricorn Cancer passes, from which countries that the Capricorn passes. Like you have to remember in a sequential order. Ecuador, like Colombia, Ecuador, Brazil, Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, Kenya, and this Indonesian regions. From these regions, the equatorial equator would be passing. Hence, we would be experiencing equatorial type of climate in this region. Do remember this. So mostly in and around this 5 degree north and south latitudes of the equator, we would be finding this type. And if you could see here, the precipitation which is present, that is just because of the influence of the coastal region. Like you can see the maritime influence which is present in these regions. Because of that, we experience precipitation. And many people say that equatorial regions receive cyclones, but it's absolutely false. Equatorial region, they never ever experience the formation of tropical cyclone. Why? Because for the tropical cyclone to be formed, we should have some of the necessary required conditions, like warm waters are required, Coriolis force impact should be there, atmospheric disturbances should be there. So near the equatorial condition, we don't find huge atmospheric disturbances because the equatorial belts are known as doldrums belt. They are called as calm conditions which happen near the equatorial region, and in equatorial region we won't find any such kind of Coriolis force. So Coriolis force would be the most important factor which would influence the formation of tropical cyclones. So if Coriolis force is not present, hence the cyclonic formation doesn't happen, because cyclonic formation is a closed air circulation. For that to happen, Coriolis force impact has to be there. Hence near the equatorial region, we don't have Coriolis force. Near the poles, the Coriolis force is maximum. From equator towards poles, the Coriolis force increases. So near equatorial region, there is no Coriolis force, no tropical cyclones would be happening in this region. And if you could see, the most greatest extension of this equatorial type of climate happens in lowlands of Amazon basin, Congo basin, and near to Malaysian and East Indies islands. Clear? All these Indonesian and group of islands are called as East Indies islands. Clear? So if you could see the climate, do remember the distribution, the most important one. Apart from this, if you remember the climatic aspect, the climate is dominated by maritime tropical air masses. As I have said, near to these regions, we have tropical maritime influence. We would be having the air masses influence over here. And because of this maritime tropical air masses having high moisture content, we would be finding high humidity, and hence throughout the year we would be experiencing precipitation. So equatorial region throughout the year mostly it is dominated by tropical maritime air masses. Hence if you could see the temperatures in this region, like temperature is uniform throughout the year, you won't find any kind of winter season. So temperature nominally, if you move in January, it would be somewhere around 35 degree, and if you move in summers, it would be somewhere reaching 43 to 45. So there is less annual range of difference. So you can't even experience the coldest region in this type of climate. Like no winter season would be present. You won't find any kind of winter season. You won't find any kind of winter season in this region. Temperature would be uniform throughout the year. If you could see, the mean monthly temperatures are around 27 degrees centigrade with very little precipitation in this region. Here, just 1 minute. And as I've said, no winter season in this tropical equatorial region. And as we have the influence of tropical maritime air masses, so huge cloudiness, heavy precipitation, like moderate the daily temperature would be clear. So throughout the year we would be experiencing this kind of condition, and regular land and sea breezes obviously are present, assist in maintaining a truly equable climate in this region. Diurnal range of temperature is small, and so the annual range. So what is diurnal range? The difference between the maximum and minimum temperature of a given day is called as diurnal range. It would be very small. In the day section you would have huge warmer, hotter climatic condition. Nights are warmer, not cooler. And in this region of like equator, as I have said, either you go in any of the months, you won't find any much change in the temperatural aspects. Annual range is nothing but the minimum and maximum temperature difference in a given year. So it is the difference between maximum and minimum in a given year. So annual range which is present, that particular annual range in these regions we would be experiencing high, very low annual range is present in this region. Do remember this, diurnal range is small and annual range is small. If you could see, this diurnal range would be very huge in desert type of climate, that we shall be discussing in the later on sections. Clear? And if you could see, heavy thunderstorms, as I have said, precipitation would be high. So daily in the morning, because of the high temperature conditions, we would be experiencing high evaporation, and because of high evaporation in the afternoons, heavy thunderstorms occur. So daily we would be having precipitation. If you could see, almost precipitation is heavy and well distributed throughout the year. Like precipitation daily happens between 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., which is convectional rainfall. Clear? So do remember this point: precipitation, convectional rainfall, and as well as it is called as 4 p.m. rainfall as well. Done. Clear? So the precipitation is heavy, as I have said, well distributed throughout the year. Annual average is always above 150 centimeter. It never comes closer. Clear? It never comes closer even to 100 centimeters. So every time we find more than 150 centimeter of rainfall, daily we would be experiencing rainfall. Instead, if I say out of 365 days, 300 days we would be experiencing rainfall in this region between 4 to 5 p.m. Hence it is called as 4 p.m. rainfall. Do remember these keywords. In some of these regions, the annual range would be varying like somewhere between 250 to 300. But considering the entire region, it would be 100% more than 150 centimeters. So there is no month you can experience like without rainfall. So distinct dry season is absent in this region. The monthly average is above 6 centimeters most of the times, and there are two times where we have maximum and minimum rainfall. So during the April and October month, you find heavy precipitations in the equatorial region. That is just shortly after the equinox. On March 21st, we have the equinox phase. After that, we would be finding this April month having maximum rainfall, and during September 23rd, post that, so after the equinox in the month of October, you will find high rainfalls. And least rainfalls happen during June and December. They are solstice times. Like during this solstice time, sun is far away from the equator on the Cancer and Capricorn regions. During that time, we experience least rainfall. It's not like we won't experience rainfall. It's like we experience very least amount of rainfall which we have here. So, and the double rainfall peaks coinciding with the equinoxes is the typical equatorial climate, which is not found in any other climatic division. Do remember this. One is convectional rainfall, which you have to remember. 4 p.m. rainfall throughout the year. No month without rain. You have to remember maximum rainfall of April and October. Minimum least rainfall June and December. Clear? And vegetation. When we compare vegetation with that of this equatorial type, so as precipitation is high, purely the vegetation would be high. High temperature, abundant rainfall support a luxuriant tropical rainforest. Like if you could see in the Amazon lowlands, the forest is so dense that it would be called as selvas. Clear, selvas are nothing but dense tropical rainforest, usually having a cloud cover. Cloud cover in sense they would be having dense canopy. And these are that dense instead that even sometimes the sunlight doesn't reach the ground surface. So most of you might have seen the Anaconda movie. Despite they traveling in the Amazon forestries in the day section, most amount of darker phases are seen. So that is just because of huge amount of cloud cover like structure of forestry which would be developed in this region. And the growing season here is all the year, like seeding, flowering and decaying do not take place in seasonal pattern. Done. So it grows all the year round, and the equatorial vegetation comprises a multitude of evergreen trees that yield hardwood. So we would be finding hardwood like mahogany, ebony, dyewoods, etc. But these are not commercially viable, or if commercial exploitation doesn't happen. Why? Because there are many factors which restrict. Because like if you could see in this region, we would be finding multiple species growth. In the upcoming slides, we would be discussing about that multiple species growth. And like if you see why they are called as evergreen forestry in general, because they don't shade their leaves, right? But this is absolutely false. Many of the texts they have given that evergreen forestry they don't shade their leaves. It is absolutely false. The answer is like, as because of multiple species growth, we would be finding the shading of leaves of different trees in different seasons. That is the major thing why we won't experience the dryness or any kind of absence of leaves in this. So evergreen trees also do shade their leaves, but because of multiple species growth, different species would be shading their leaves in different seasons. Do remember this point. And if you could see canopy, like we have different structural canopy. From the tropical rainforest appears like thick canopy of foliage broken only where it is crossed by large rivers. So in those regions where the rivers are present, in those regions you would be experiencing, just one minute. In those regions you would be experiencing the clearing of forestry, but apart from that entirely you would be finding dense forestry over there. So all plants there compete each other, they struggle each like each tree would be struggling up with another tree for the sunlight, which resulting into a peculiar layer arrangement. And if you could see the epiphytes, and epiphyte are present in this region, it is a plant that grow harmlessly upon the other plant. So in desert we find xerophytes, in equatorial region we find epiphytes. Clear? You could see the different canopies of these trees. Clear? So, and the tallest tree which is present that attains a height of 50 meters, and smaller tree attains beneath from the next layer, you could see. And so these kind of different canopies are formed. As I have said, this equatorial vegetation which is present, that has multiple species growth. Because of this multiple species growth, like if you check in 1 acre, let's say like in 1 square kilometer or 1 acre, if you calculate, you would find some hundreds of species. So for commercial viability to happen, same species of tree has to be cut. So finding those trees in the multiple species growth will make it very difficult for them to cut and make it commercially viable. So hence, because of this multiple species growth, despite they have huge amount of timber resources, commercial viability doesn't happen. It is highly difficult. There, trees in those regions of the world where they occur in pure stands, their commercial exploitation can be done, but here it would be a difficult task. This is one reason. Apart from that, infrastructural bottlenecks, lack of labor availability, transportation would be highly difficult. You can't make these trees to come from those dense forestry and be like very high commercial value in the globalized world. So this book becomes highly important with the factors which are present. Clear? So many of the tropical woods do not float readily on water. Like let's assume like near to the cold climatic regions, generally river is used as the transportation. But here the tropical woods are very heavy. They sink into the water. Hence they can't float on the water. Like if they want to use the river systems as the transportation. Hence, it is therefore not surprising that many tropical countries which are present, they are net timber importers because of lack of this commerciality. And life and economy, obviously, as we have the forestry regions, the sparsely populated regions, very less dense population is observed in this region. And most primitive people live in these regions, they are still hunters and gatherers. If you see most of the tribal population who are present here, they are still under the journey of hunters and gatherers. Still they hunt and gather. Clear? The more advanced one practice shifting cultivation. It is the most outdated one in many of the tropical developing and developed regions. And shifting cultivation would be the most advanced one which you could see in this region. Clear? And food is abundantly available. Obviously, people generally don't stock food for the next day. They on and often eat the fresh food as hunting on the same day and eating on the same day. And commercially, if you see, we have some limited commercial viabilities in the Amazon basin. Indian tribes, do remember, they are the tribes who are present in Amazon basin. So it comes under social geography. They may be important for your preliminary examination. So the Indian tribes collect wild rubber. Congo basin, if you see, the pygmies, they gather nuts. In jungles of Malaysia, the orang asli make all sorts of cane products. Do remember, this social geography would also be highly important for you. The important tribes of this equatorial region, they play a crucial role in getting the questions from these regions. Clear? So everyone know that shifting cultivation slash and burn agriculture, which is on and often a primitive method of agricultural stand, like this is practiced in this region. In India, we can find these kind of shifting cultivation in northeast region as of now. So like they will use the patch of land, they will leave it off, or they'll slash and burn, and they will move to next patch of land. That is shifting cultivation, which is the most primitive one. So tribes cut the trees in the plot, burn them, and cultivate the plot till the fertility is exhausted in this region. Once the fertility is exhausted, the clearing is abandoned and they move on to the new plot. Clear? So in this kind of shifting cultivation, you can observe the crops which grow like maize, banana, groundnuts. Done. And plantation agriculture was earlier not present in this region. Just with the entry of Europeans, in these regions of Java, Sumatra, Malaysia, West Africa, and Central America, the plantation agriculture has been started. So it has, the climate has suited this kind of cropping cultivations. Like climate is very favorable for cultivation of certain crops which have high valued in the industrial west. The most important is natural rubber. If you could see, Malaysia and Indonesia, they are leading producers of this natural rubber. And the home country Brazil exports but practically no natural rubber at all, because of the local climatic conditions which are present. Do remember, these points are highly important. And consider the following statement like questions. These points would be inserted and they would be asking the question. And cocoa, you can see, like, which is generally used in chocolate and many other consuming products, is another important crop which is cultivated in West Africa bordering the Gulf of Guinea region. The two most important producers are Ghana and Nigeria. All the cocoa here goes into American and European chocolate industries. Clear? Other important crops like include coconut, sugar, coffee, as Brazil is leading producer, Tea, tobacco, spices are also important. And the plantations destroyed near half of the equatorial forest. With the entry of plantation agriculture into the equatorial region, the forestry's deterioration has been happened. In the recent era, if you might have seen the Amazon forest fire, clear, that has some connection with this plantation agriculture as well. So the oil palm industry which has been developed in this region, that is also most important one. So why, what are the factors which are essential? Because these kind of questions generally appear in mains, no need to focus on prelims. So equatorial climate is very extreme in nature, high temperatures, and the easy spread of diseases happen in this region. That is the most important point which makes this region to be underdeveloped. And the jungles which are present, they hinder development. No transportation network, no infrastructure can be built, no capitalism happens, no one comes and invest in these jungle regions. That is one of the most important point. Rapid deterioration of tropical soil. Because of daily heavy precipitation, we find mostly marshy, peaty soils in this region. Hence, tropical soils are not that easily gained back. So this is one point. And you find difficulties in livestock farming because livestock farming is greatly handicapped because of absence of meadow grass. In these regions, the grasses are so tall and which are not nutritious. Generally, the temperate grasses are very nutritious. In those regions, we find huge amount of livestock farming. Here. Hence, thank you for watching this lesson. So let's crack UPSC CSE English with Unacademy. So daily in this way, every half an hour, I'll be coming up live with one of the subtopics from geography. So if you want to get the continuous notification, just click on the bell icon and do subscribe to Let's Crack UPSC CSE English Unacademy channel. So before you get the subscription done, try to use the code called as VK10 so that you get 10% discount on it. If you have liked this video, please give a like symbol and do share this video so that it can reach as much as it can. Clear? Thank you for watching this lesson. Have an awesome day. Jai Hind.